Chef Terry Reese, and this is Tips, Tricks, and Techniques. At the dinner table, meaningful conversations about school, work, and life support children and encourage them to succeed. Parent University and Believe to Become are proud to support our show today. Hi, I'm Chef Terry Reese, and welcome back to Tips, Tricks, and Techniques, a cooking show where we're going to teach you how to cook at home, just like the professional chefs. Today I'm working on some egg recipes, and actually I'm going to do something that my mother never let me do. I'm going to start with dessert and then go on to the main meal. We're going to make a beautiful pavlova with mixed berries and a lemon curd, and then I'm going to teach you how to poach eggs and how to do a 30-second omelet. So let's start with that pavlova. Over here I have about 3 egg whites that I separated, and they are mixed to almost a medium height. I'm going to bring my bowl up, and I'm going to mix in just a little bit of powdered sugar. I'm going to get that well incorporated and just let it go for a while until it gets a little bit fluffy. Now you never want to try and whip eggs. We'll turn this down a bit. You don't want to try and whip egg whites if it's very humid outside. If you're lucky enough in the summer to have air conditioning, this would be the time I would tell you to use it. And I'm not a big fan of air conditioning. So I'm going to whip this for just a little bit more. And let it go on down. As you can see here, we'll pop this off. I have a nice, fluffy, stiff egg white, and it's ready to make into a meringue that I can bake. So what I have is a half sheet pan that has a circle on it. And what I'm going to do is flip it over, easier said than done today, so that the marker doesn't get onto my egg whites. And I'll flip it over and then pop the egg whites into the center. And get my trusty knife here. And then I'm going to spread them out just a little bit. Kind of fill up into that circle. It doesn't have to be perfect. You could pipe this if you wanted to. You could make 3 or 4 little meringues. You could always make one big meringue and let it go. Now this will take about 35 to maybe an hour, because it's not very big, minutes to cook in a slow oven, which is about 300 degrees. So I'm going to set this off to the side, and we'll go on from there. The next piece that I need for this is my lemon curd. Now lemon curd is one of my mama's favorites, and what it is 3 egg yolks, about some sugar, and a little bit of cornstarch for some thickening. And I'm going to mix that up, and then I'm going to add in some lemon juice to it. It's getting a little thick there. Go ahead and cut my lemon in half and add up the rest of what I need. Now if you've watched me before, as I get the wrong one 3 times, here it is. If you watch me before, you know that a fork works the best for squeezing out lemons. And I need about 1/3 of a cup, and I've got that now. And I love using fresh lemons whenever possible. Drizzle it in. And then using your trusty whisk, make sure that you incorporate this all the way through. Turn that up just a little bit. One of the things that you need to remember as a home cook is you control the temperature of the stove. So if I say it's medium-high heat and yours needs to be on high, you can go ahead and adjust that any way that you want. We're going to cook this until it comes to a nappe. Nappe means it coats the back of a spoon. So if I was to take a spoon and put it in here and draw a line on it, this would separate off a little bit. I do know that it needs to come up, and we'll get it going here for a second. Comes to a simmer, and what we will do is we'll let it get thick, and then we will strain it through a strainer. Now, why do we strain it through a strainer? If by chance you went and put this in really, really fast and it scrambled your eggs, this will get the scrambling part of the eggs out. I think I've got it here almost. But one of the things with this dessert is it's not done in a day. You will need to do part of it today and then let things chill, and then you can decorate it tomorrow. So if you can see, I've got a nice little line that separates, and what I'm going to do is pour it into a bowl through a metal strainer or a sieve, anything that you might have at home. The other thing it does, I was lucky enough that it caught my seeds that I had. That wouldn't have been very pleasant if you would have done it. So we'll move this on out. And the last bit that I need to do is put in a little bit of butter. So I actually have 3 tablespoons of butter here. And I know, sounds like a lot, but you know what? This is dessert, and desserts sometimes can be healthy, but sometimes they can be just darn good. And I'm going to mix that in and let it dissolve, totally whisking. And this might take a few minutes to do. And then I'm going to let it chill. And the reason I'm going to let it chill is I'm going to fold it into some whipped cream in just a little bit to finish off this dessert. So we'll set it down in a side. And I have, ready to go, my whipped cream and my lemon curd. So this is what the lemon curd looks like when you're done. It's gotten nice and thick and creamy. It's great for a sauce with just plain berries. You can also use it for toast. My mother eats it just out of the jar when I ship it to her. It can be used for multiple dessert parts. And I'm going to lighten it up with some whipped cream. This is cream, sugar, whipped. And look, I'm always making a mess. That way I get to have some taste, but we won't bother about that. We'll just let it go. And I'll stir this in. Lighten it up a bit. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Now when your egg whites that you've made come out of the oven, they look a little bit like this. Nice and dark and brown, lightly brown, a little bit spongy to the touch, and you can layer this any way that you want. Today with the lemon curd and with the whipped cream in there, I think that'll be just great. Go ahead and pour some of it on. Now you're wondering what pavlova is. There's a story that goes that a Russian gentleman was very, very interested in a ballerina, and he made pavlova for her. And they say it's either Australian or it's New Zealand. And then we're going to decorate it with some beautiful fresh fruit that we have. Now this could be any berries that you have, any fresh fruit. It's Michigan. Right now we have all kinds of berries out there, and we have blueberries, blackberries, all kinds of different ones. You could use strawberries. You could use peaches if you want and go the stone fruit way. But use whatever is in season. And I'm just going to grab a pile of these, pop it right up there. Can be a little bit messy of a dessert. That's okay. And for a little bit of decadence on the very end of this dessert, let's toss in a little bit of powdered sugar. And there you have pavlova. So everybody always asks me, how do you poach eggs? And it's one of the simplest things that you can have. But believe it or not, I didn't poach eggs until I went to culinary school. So here's what I'm going to do today. I'll teach you a few tricks with it. One, it's simmering water. So get your pan hot and get it simmering water going. Two, take the time to crack your egg and put it into another vessel. This will help you slide that egg in there and let it go. 3, take a spoon of some type and make a little bit of a whirlpool in it. The whirlpool effect kind of holds everything together and lets it go. So it takes those egg whites and puts them through. And you don't need to use vinegar and all that. You just need to have some water in here. So I'm going to let that go for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And I'm going to make myself a very, very simple tomato, avocado, and poached egg salad. So let's see how well I do today. I've opened up my avocado here and got it taken out. And we're just going to slide that on to the plate and do a nice gentle cut into it. As you can see, I have my salt and pepper out. So I'm going to do a little bit of sprinkle of salt and pepper because I like that. And I am one of those people that like my egg yolks runny. I think the egg yolk being runny is what's going to make your salad really delightful. So if you can see here, I got my egg. Ooh, let's get it up, let's get it up. Oh, it needs just a little bit more. We'll let it go for 2 more seconds, and I'll grab a towel here because that spoon did get hot. And juggling spoons, that's part of it. When that happens, you just kind of go with the flow. And I get my egg up, and so it's nice and covered over there. Go ahead and lay that egg down on there. I think we'll try another one just to see if I can make it a little smoother. Now, I don't have to empty out all of the egg whites that are floating in here. In restaurants, they'll use that for lots and lots of different eggs. Drop it back in. Still got a little going. And there, boom. I'm a little hungry. I want 2 eggs for my breakfast. Make that little bit of a whirlpool again. Now this is taking, what, maybe 2-3 minutes to do. You could have dinner or breakfast on the table in 2 or 3 minutes with a couple of poached eggs. It's very easy to do. If you wanted to, you could make your eggs and cook them almost a hard boil this way. One of the nice things about this is it takes a lot of the fat out of your meal. Your flavor is going to come from the egg when it opens up and the yolk just kind of comes through. So if we're lucky today, and I think I am, got another egg right here. We are going to set it over on the top. I think I have lunch for myself. Turn my water off because I don't need any more. And we will cut into this and see how well I did. Hopefully we have a beautiful yolk that's a little runny. Yeah, what do you think about that? I think that's a fantastic breakfast or lunch that you could have. Very healthy, low fat, fresh food, and doesn't take more than about 2 or 3 minutes in order to get. I'm going to give a taste of this with that nice Michigan tomato, and we'll see where we're at. In my opinion, nothing like a runny egg yolk. So go ahead and try this sometime for dinner. And what I'm going to do next is teach you how to do a 30-second omelet. It might take me a bit longer because I'm going to talk you through the process, but you'll know how to do it. Making omelets is very easy. I know on TV they make it sound super easy. You always know when somebody says at a movie, the man says to the lady, I'd make you something, but oh, I've only got eggs. And she says, I know how to make a great omelet. Well, in school, I learned how to make a 30-second omelet, and it's been my go-to quite a bit of time. What I'm going to do is have a pan, a saute pan, non-stick if you have it, and I want to warm it up over medium heat here. There we go. And you can check the heat by putting your hand over it, and then I want to melt a pat of butter on it. And let that go all the way down. And I'm going to do 2 eggs this time for me, because I don't really need a whole lot. So 1 egg, and then 2. And I'm going to mix it up with a fork. Now you can do this in a bowl. I just happen to have a measuring cup here that make it really easy. When I was in school, we had this gentleman come in from the World Book of Records, and he did something like 300 omelets in an hour. It was incredible. I thought, who would want to be able to know how to do omelets that fast? Well, I worked an omelet station at one of my jobs, and believe me, his tricks really help. So I am right-handed, and that's going to be important. So if you're a lefty, I'm really sorry, but you're just going to have to do that thing that lefties always do. You just have to kind of translate that back. So I got my pan, and it's going fairly well, and I'm going to put my egg in there. Turn it up just a little bit again so that it gets going. Now, I dislike eggs that are brown, so let's see if I can get it so it's not brown. Got my heat up and going, and I'm using a rubber spatula so that I can just pull the eggs away and let it go. It's going to take a few. And if I wanted to, I could get 2 pans or maybe 3 pans going all at once. But since it's just me, I think a 2-egg omelet and one of them will do great. I'm going to let it set. And then I'm going to talk you through how we get this done. I'm right-handed, and I've always watched where people flip eggs over. So I'm going to put the pan handle to my right side. And I'm going to remember to use my palm up when I flip my egg out. If I put my hand palm down and do this, I kind of chicken wing it, and it just kind of goes all over the place. And that's the trick to getting your omelets to come out. You also have to remember that there is carryover cooking when you're using omelets and eggs, or anything really. So the egg is going to set up afterwards, and it'll be nice and delicious. So you don't want to overcook your egg. There's a fine line between overcooking and undercooking. And if you can tell, I'm just moving the eggs away from the pan and letting it get underneath. There we go. It's starting to firm up quite a bit. And it's looking nice and bright. Now, I like salt and pepper, so I'm going to use my handy dandy little salt. Give myself just a little bit. And I'm going to do a little pepper. Purists will say that you need white pepper because they don't want to see the flakes of dark in there, but I'm okay with that. Your egg should swirl around a little bit in the pan. It should be nice and easy to move. And I'm going to get just the last piece parts of it off. There we go. So again, I'm right-handed. I put the handle to the right, and I draw an imaginary line down the center. And what I want to do is I'm going to get some grated cheese. Now we hand grated the cheese today because the stuff that you buy grated in the store, it's really not the best. But if that's all you have, I won't say anything about it. And if you notice, I'm only filling it up on 1/2. Swirl this around, make sure that it doesn't stick. Put my hand palm up, kind of come through, pop it over, and fold my egg over. And if I want, I could add a little bit more cheese onto that. The heat of the egg will start to melt the cheese, especially if your cheese is fairly close to room temperature. And I have a little salad that's tossed here in a red wine vinaigrette that I made. We're just going to drizzle that. And now I have dinner in about 30 seconds, if I didn't talk you through how I did it. So here's a great omelet. It's nice and easy. Cut through. And it's fluffy, and my cheese is all starting to melt, and I'm going to get it all over because I love omelets. Very good. If you wanted to do 3 or 4 egg omelets, you can do that. Same technique, it's just going to take a little bit longer. So hope you try this, and I hope to see you sometime soon. You can find these recipes and more at www.chefterryreese.com on my blog, and I'll see you next time. I think I'm going to eat all of this one today. Thanks for watching today's show, Tips, Tricks, and Techniques. Remember, at the dinner table, much love is expressed. Life-giving conversations encourage children to believe in their unlimited potential, embrace high expectations, and seize every opportunity to achieve success in school, work, and life. Learn more about Believe to Become at IBelieveBecome.org.